Hmm. So here's my first take of the YouTube video. First ever. Um, there's a video series going around, and it was started by Yamez at Island Metal Forge. Got you. And since, a lot, I'm talking like a lot of, real reputable, well-known blacksmiths have put their 2 cents in, and made their own video rebuttals to this. Because it's a topic that needs to be discussed, and it is what the blacksmithing community means to them. One thing, though, that I have not seen brought up in this is sort of the historical aspect. I may be like grasping for straws, or you can think whatever the hell you want to think, honestly. A lot of people have talked about, how welcoming, how open this community is, and how accepting. And it's true. If you're not a dumbass and you have legit information, oh my God, legit, drive and will to learn this craft. Yes, there are people out there that are wanting to help you. The information is free. It's everywhere. It's just like blown up all over YouTube. Good information. Taken with a grain of salt. There's some bad information. But one thing that has not been discussed is the difference. There's a difference between this community, the blacksmith community, and every other trade community, period. Here's what that is. This is something I feel profoundly intrigued by, and like, this needs to be addressed. To give some sort of aspect, on the community. Back in like medieval Europe or wherever, wars broke out a lot. I mean, these things just kicked off at people's whims. Oh, you kidnapped my woman. It's like, next thing you know, there's a whole freaking war about it. Whatever. The thing was, if you're a blacksmith in that time, you were well known by every tradesman. Every tradesman came to you. You had a red flag on your head when it came down to wartime. Alright, you were, war broke out. You were rounded up and put into dungeons. I'm talking like literal dungeons. Like, this is dungeon. There's chains hanging on the wall and shit. But you were treated awesomely. It's like you were not some just piece of meat hanging on the wall. You were treated very well because they needed you. They needed your knowledge. Again, that comes back down to, the whole blacksmithing thing is like, most blacksmiths had apprentices. If you were a blacksmith's apprentice, you didn't let that known. That wasn't well widely known at that time that you were so-and-so's apprentice. For the reason of saving knowledge. Because if your master went off to the dungeon and was never heard of again, they wanted to have their legacy carried on. They wanted to preserve that information. And secrecy was how they preserved that information. Now, back to the dungeons. Okay, war broke out. You're rounded up because they didn't want you to fall into enemy hands. They didn't want you killed, but they wanted you to serve their territory. Okay, but you were treated well because they needed you. You weren't just, again, some meat hanging on the wall. They need you. They need your mind, your skills. Well, the blacksmithing community took root in dungeons in wartime era. War broke out so frequently. I mean, it just, drop of a hat, Oh, you did blah. Oh, I'm gonna blah. Now, man, that stuff kicked off like, whatever. I mean, it was like every 3 days, someone was declaring war on somebody. Anyway, so a lot of the knowledge sharing came down to those dungeon mates, those cellmates. It was like prison time. You're all set to tasks on like, well, I'm better at this, I'm better at this, I'm better at that, you're better at this, you're better at this, he's better at that. That's how that knowledge spread. That's what made blacksmiths better. Because it took blacksmiths from, that were spread out over a kingdom and thrown into the same damn dungeon. And you had to make weapons of war. Debate me on this. Have at it. Debate me. That's where that knowledge was spread. That's where you had the most skilled individuals in any given landmass area put together and forced to do a job. We were not asked, we were forced to do this job. Okay? We're compensated by living. Our life meant having our life meant having the damn skills. So that was extremely important. You think nowadays about like, someone teaching you how to make a leaf. Oh, you suck at making a leaf. Oh, you're really good at making a leaf. The knowledge of just how to make a leaf could have landed your ass in a dungeon. Think about that. So what does the blacksmithing community mean to me personally? It means the risk of sharing that knowledge with people and seeing the value that other people get from that knowledge to be able to change their lives. It's not taught in fear now. It used to be because, again, that knowledge could land your ass in a dungeon. But now that wartime is over, you think about, like YouTube, Google, iForge Iron, things like that. There's no more of the risk of imprisonment. It's just all free knowledge now, out there for the giving. And we've, as a community, have been so lacking a way to freely give that knowledge. And now it's there. So yes, we are very, very, very giving community. So to all you hammer swingers out there, be thankful. Be thankful for the knowledge you get from other smiths. Because It's free now. Didn't used to be. You could find Joe Billy Bob and learn carpentry. Or this mason. You could learn high-level masonry. You just had to get into it. You could not get into blacksmithing. Blacksmiths took one apprentice and that was it. And they taught them well. And they taught them to keep that knowledge secret. So, this is my take on what does the blacksmithing community mean to me. The blacksmithing community now means freedom. It means showing the world what you can do and how you do it. It used to mean imprisonment. So, thank you for your time. Be safe. Wear your safety glasses. No, I'm sorry. Had to do that for Black Bear Forge. But, you know, it's important stuff to save and promote to future generations. And it is obviously an applicable art. But it means a lot more now. Well, it means a very different thing now than it used to. Our freedom has allowed us to expand. So, be thankful for the blacksmith's expansion.